Hello, everyone. Wait for more people to join. Wait to see few a few comments in the chats. Then we'll get started. Is my audio okay? Is my lighting okay? Anybody hear me? As soon as we get some more people, we'll get started. Welcome. You hear me okay? And how's my lighting? Not too bright. Not too dim. We got a lot to talk about today. And a new piece of equipment to test. Wait for a couple more people to join in. And we'll get started. Give everybody a minute. I hope everyone had a pleasant Halloween. And we got Thanksgiving merging up. I hope everybody's got a pretty safe and happy plan for Thanksgiving. So we're merging into 3 minutes into the live. I'm going to get started. So welcome everybody. This is launch to my new podcast, DSI Podcast, short for Dead Serious Investigations Podcast. I am the host and lead paranormal investigator to Dead Serious Investigations. My name is Duran Conrad. I specialize in demonology, paranormal, the occult, ufology, and I study in a lot of other fields in the paranormal. So what we are going to do today is we're going to have a discussion with the paranormal, the occult, ufology, and if the chats have any questions, please add it in the chats and I will answer at the best of my knowledge. I'm also going to be testing a new piece of equipment. It is called Portal. I'm sure a lot of people that watch paranormal channels, paranormal shows, you probably are familiar with that. Hey, what's up, Silent Echoes? Glad you could join. Thank you. So I see you could hear me. That's good. All right. So, yeah, this is the device we're going to be testing. As you could tell, I got Pam on display for the first time live in her case. So I haven't done that in a long time. And the energy is very, very fierce right now because I could feel it behind me. Awesome. So I got a few pieces here. I do have more other pieces that you're familiar with me using in the past. Millimeter. Got Ovilus, the Ovilus 5. I'll be running an EVP as well during the session. And oh yeah, the SB7 Spirit Box. So I wanted to use both the SB7 and the Portal because I want to get two different I want to see the differences between the two on one segment because one, you're going to get less white noise. However, um, the tap-ins through the frequencies may differ between the two. Plus, I can't figure out a reverse function for the Portal device, only the SB7. So I haven't figured that out on this yet. So this is a blind test with this Portal device because I don't have any knowledge with working with Portal devices. So we're going to test that live blindly, and but I'm very curious about it. So how's everyone doing? um Hopefully I'm not speaking too loud in the mic. So yeah, as you can see, Pam's in her case right now, and right now what I got protecting this door right here is a pentagram with a Solomon protection seal in the pentagram to contain the object. And yeah, this object is been one of my most important of researches out of all my investigations. One of the most compelling, intelligent responses have been through this object. And it's not the object to worry about, it is what's surrounding the object. And we're going to get into that, when it comes to haunted objects and how they work and what's the whole mystery behind them. That's what I want to get into. So yeah, um for people that are new, Pam, the origins of Pam really comes from a secondhand store. And when I received Pam, I bought Pam not in the intentions of collecting haunted objects. This was before I even had any intention of getting into the paranormal field. I had knowledge, I had studied about the paranormal and the occult for many years in demonology, as well as ufology. However, I never really thought that I was actually going to become a paranormal investigator. I just was drawn to the knowledge of knowing. So, and also as a personal paranormal experiencer, um, when I bought Pam, I was drawn to get this object, and I was like, man, this object would really look cool in my house because I would deck my house during Halloween and stuff. So, I would throw these really neat Halloween parties and with family and friends and really deck out certain areas based on like category. And I had a paranormal category themed area. And I was like, this object would be amazing decked out over in the section that I'm creating. When I bought Pam, I bought more than I bargained for. And at the moment, I wasn't knowing enough. But for some weird reason, I was really drawn to get this object. And so after a couple of years of owning Pam, there was a lot of interesting dreams I would have. Yeah, definitely silent echoes. That is a possibility. Um, when it comes to the dreams I've had, there were certain things that would be signs or signatures coming from this object. And when I started having these repetitive nightmares that involved this object, I started questioning myself about it. So then when it came to a point where I then started funding into paranormal equipment, I bought my first piece of equipment that I felt like was very necessary for me to start with. And that was just a EMF detector. actually is right here. This. I thought it was very important to see if there was anything surrounding the object. So I did, and it did not hesitate to show that there was a presence. So it also had stuck itself on a temperature spike of 66.6 degrees, and that temperature didn't move. It went straight towards that number and didn't change. Stayed that right there for a significant amount of time. So I knew something there that was definitely of malevolent intention. So I knew right then that there might be something very intriguing about the object that needs to be looked into. So I needed to make sure though, because just because I was getting a spike and all that stuff on the object, I needed to be sure that it was from the object and not from the surrounding environment. So I took it out for as a test. I took it out with some people that I started the team with. And what we'd done was we established a meeting, and this was a test to test some certain devices that to start out with. And we conducted this test, and the people that were invited to the group were very new to the paranormal. So they didn't really understand too much of this, but were pretty stunned at the results of how quick we were getting things. I was even stunned and shocked of how quick we were receiving communication and the responses that I got. And the things that were coming through this woman's voice, and definitely a signature to Pam. And she does actually, I shouldn't even say she, because the primary spirit in Pam is has a very heavy masculinity energy. Um, it is a male, and that is definitely established. But it's got a multitude of spirits attached to this object. However, the speaker of the object. Oh yeah, no problem, Lucid. Um, if you got to run, it's all good. I'm gonna be posting this later if you can't make the rest of the live, so no worries. So yeah, this object during that test though, we got a lot of voices through the spirit box. Um, and actually one of the captures, one of the most very, very clear captures that I got, it was actually the first clear class A capture through the spirit box that I ever captured. And is when it said evil and then said, talk to her, meaning talk to the object, Raggedy Ann doll. Because Pam wanted to communicate. At that time, I never got the name Pam yet. Yeah, silent echoes, at least 1,000 or even more, because there's a lot of spirits that correspond with Primordial that are even the same rank, and are very close to some devils. Just one moment. Someone's knocking at my front door. Sorry. False alarm is a neighbor. All right, so what we're going to do right now, I'm going to jump straight to it. So we are going to be testing this device, and so this is going to be completely new to me. So bear with me. I have no place to really set this down, so I'm just going to hold it right here in my hand. So the voice is going to be reverbed a little bit, but I have to tamper with the reverberation so that way it'll be clear. So is everybody hearing this okay?
Right this.
Now, before I continue on with this, I have to really let people understand what this is actually doing right now. So, what this does is it taps in through several radio frequencies and sweeps through them at a very rapid pace. So, when that's why you're hearing some music a little bit in the background, because when when I'm hearing the music, that really signifies that obviously there's some type of radio signal contamination right there. So those ones I really rule out as nothing unexplained or paranormal. That's just radio contamination. But as you could tell, when those sweep through and come in, they're very unclear. So it's just gibberish. When you get clear words, you should not get anything clear because it's sweeping very fast. So when it does come in clear, that's the ones you kind of want to look into and review, because they're sweeping really fast and a word shouldn't come in clear. It should be just like a fraction of a word. Sometimes you'll get whole sentences sweeping through like 12 different radio stations with the same voice. Those are the ones that you really want to look into. So that's what this does. And it's coming in with a reverb. So to get a more clear voice, so you could hear the sounds of the voice, versus this one right here, the SB7 Spirit Box. They come in clear, they can. And but it's a little bit more frustrating to catch the on cue communication, because the white noise is very static and hard to listen through. You kind of have to tap through it. You got to listen past the white noise, and it's a little difficult. This one is much less white noise, but I'm going to turn this back on and we'll get started, because I'm really excited about this. Well, we'll get into some more paranormal discussion, but yeah, let's get started.
Stupid. It's a.
That was interesting. I got the one pump going. I'm gonna get this EVP recorder going too. Pam, if you want to tap into this device is open for communication. Pam, can you hear us? Can you hear me? I need validation that you are here right now. Are you here? Can you give me a yes if you're here? That was interesting. Is everyone hearing this okay through the mic? I heard kill. Pam, are you here with us? Pam, can you clarify my name? Let me know you're here. And how many of you are there? may have heard Duran. Okay, good. It may have said my name. Hey, Pam, what type of entity are you? Whoa, did you hear that? Six spirits? So it was a delayed response, but that's normal. This is Pam's first time interacting with a portal device here, so Pam, what type of spirit are you? There's kill again. Pam, do you remember Dyer Lane? Heard or 9. Join. I'm pretty though. Did you hear that? That was wicked. That sounded really sinister. Is there anything you want to tell us? Pam, can you say hello to the world? You are alive. And we really appreciate the communication. So is there 6 of you here right now, or is there 9? Can you validate that? Peter? I'm gonna test the Milligauss reading right now. The temperature is baselined at about 67 degrees. It's definitely baseline at 67.5. Let's get closer. Pam, can you come through and say something? You make me see. You make me see? Is that what? Did everybody hear that? Yeah, I heard laughs too. Can you see me? Or are you having trouble seeing me, Pam? One. Pam. or Promercial. Can you validate your presence? What density do you come from? That was an interesting voice right there that came through. I have to review that. We're in the third density. What density are you in? I heard ghosts. Cry? No Milligoth spikes yet. Yeah, I've heard foreign languages coming from this object before. I've actually had some Arabic language coming from this object before, which makes me think that this entity may be a jinn. That was interesting. That was a very clear word, but I didn't hear what it said. There, maybe? King? I heard king. If you understand demonology, demonology is a hierarchy. Or 12 rooms. Rooms could signify as spaces, 12 spaces, 12 different. What do you mean by rooms? Yours? But I don't have 12 rooms. Can you be more clear on that? What do you mean by rooms? Pam, are you having trouble tapping in? Truth. Kick this kickstand up. Stand still? That's what I heard. I just laughed at me. Burned. Warning. Pam, are you happy here? Are you comfortable in that case? Can you tell people how old you are? How old you are as a spirit?
Ready. Check out. Wait.
I heard wait. So still. Huh. If anybody has any questions they want me to ask Pam, feel free to chime in on that and I could ask. Pam, right now is the time to communicate. So if you have anything you need to say, please say right now.
Coverage. This. Look on that.
Expose. Pam, can you reveal your voice? Creature. Did you hear that? Yeah. Oh yeah, I could have said teacher. Pam, what form do you like to take? Like, can you explain what you are?
I'm Chris. In the world.
I'm Chris. That's what I heard. Someone try to chime in there. Pam, we're gonna cut this this communication. We're gonna end this communication in just a moment. We're gonna be using other devices. The communication through the portal device, I'm gonna put it to an end right now. And we appreciate you testing this device with us. Listener. Did you hear that? Thank you, Pam. So I have the EVP recorder running, so I have a lot to review on that. So I will be reviewing that. And if I capture anything, I will be definitely snipping those in later on. So as you all know, or if you don't know, this is the launch to my new DSI podcast, Dead Serious Investigations podcast. So I will be doing other episodes. The launch to this podcast is live. So after this, I'll be doing pre-recorded episodes. They'll be probably, however long, could be 9-10 minutes long. And I could add whatever things based on what I'm talking about. So I could share some of the stuff that I capture from this, and I'll snip those in for you to see. So I won't leave you guys out on those captures if I get some really clear messages that validate what I'm asking. So what I want to do right now is actually get the Ovilus running, because I'm curious of what comes through that could validate what we've heard, or if there's just additional messages that need to come through. Terry, I've never heard that name before come through here. Which actually is an abbreviation to something. Soccer soldier. Weird. Park, dope, stone. Whoa. Beware. Wow. And also, that's interesting. So I just want to put that to the camera so everybody could see that. So, wow. Dope, stone, beware. Oh, wow. Stone, beware. Seek. Seems to be very quoted on a stone, because and then it says seek. Is there a stone or wow. Look at that. It just said Satan, carbon, Kim. Wow. So something not very friendly is tapping through. So, which, as everybody's aware of, usually when I'm making communication with Pam, you got to be careful, because the level of energy in Pam is something that a lot of people don't understand. Carbon, Kim. Who's Kim? That is a common human name. And things of malevolent nature tend to use common human names as a distraction of who they really are. So, we got I heard I'm Chris. I heard that come through the portal device as a common human name. We got no milligauss spikes, and we're still at 67.6 on the temperature. It just stopped at Kim. It hasn't, nothing else has come through yet. So, oh, here we go. Tide, face, key. Some of the stuff could sound like gibberish or mean nothing until later. Everything has a meaning. You just have to follow the pattern, or the spirits themselves are actually trying to come up with words that aren't in the vocabulary in the device. It only holds 2,500 words. So it's trying to tell me something, but it can't tell me direct sometimes. You got to remember also, spirits, especially ancient spirits, their terminology is very different than ours, because industry just came through. They like to use fancy words, especially ancient spirits. November, that's interesting, because it is November right now. See that? Nice, comfort. That's good. Great. Well, I feel great too. I hope you do too. And hopefully that comfort is a sign that Pam is comfortable in there. You feel nice in there. Oh, thank you, Silent Echoes. Yeah, when it comes to terminology with ancient spirits, the just even like the living back then had a different state of consciousness. So their terminology was much more fancier in basic terms of for us to understand how they spoke. They they use words that we don't really use today and are very complex to our minds. So a lot of ancient spirits will use things like providence and um, you know, very fancy words and words that aren't really used in our dictionaries today. And I mean, they are in dictionary, but people don't really use them on an everyday basis. But it's just how they communicate, and they prefer that way. Um, yeah, we're going to move on. I want to get this going because we are almost an hour in, or 41 minutes. Flow, project, cost, row. Keeping all this documented because all these could have a meaning together or something that may have came through a while ago. Hello, Edna. All right, right now we are going to activate the SB7T spirit box. ROW, silent echoes. Like coming in a row. It said project cost row. Those three terms can connect in a way that I can't put my foot down on it, but I know it means something for me. All right. So I'm going to turn on the SB7. All right. Welcome, everybody. And we are about to tap in using the spirit box, the SB7 spirit box. All right. So first we had the portal. We used the portal earlier. We had some interesting responses, but now it's time to test this with the SB7 to see the difference in results. And we're going to be sweeping in reverse. So this is going to get us the radio signals, all of these, all in reverse. So, which I love much better than going forward, because contamination you could rule out a lot easier. So I really prefer the reverse. So if you get a crystal clear word, and even then, I'm going to be sweeping this thing fast enough to where anything would come in as a fraction of a word if it were contaminated. So let's get this going. Sweep in reverse. Thanks, Edna. All right. I hope everybody could hear this. Pam, are you familiar with this device? I feel a draft on my right hand right now. No way. That's crazy. It shut my speaker off. Pam, I could feel your presence. Can you speak? Decided. Hey. Hello, Pam. Pam shut my speaker off. That's so crazy. Pam, can you acknowledge your presence? Do you have anything to say, Pam? Something came through. The last words that came through the Ovilus was decided, hey. Can you channel easier through this device, Pam? I could feel a draft on my hand. No Milligoth hits though. Oh, this would be a really good time to get this REM setting on. Oh, I knew it. I knew it. All right, I'm gonna set this down. Let that go idle. I gotta re-zero this. Maybe even change the range to make it less sensitive. Just to, yeah, this Cam communicates so easy through this. So this is a REM. I have the REM setting set on this. So anytime Pam or any spirit wants to communicate, all they have to do is come up to it like this. See how close I have to be in order for that to go off? So it's baseline to my body. So that's why it's not going off when I hold it. I gotta redo it again. Cam, can you come over and interact with this REM device? Now I moved it over back to myself, and now it's not doing anything though. I don't even feel the draft anymore. Cam, are you still there? Waters. Orb. Few. So, here, I gotta hold this real quick. Look at that. Orb and few. That's pretty amazing. So are there orbs that are coming and going that I'm not seeing, Tim? Are those orbs connected with you? Oh, wow, come on. Oh, Cam, shut the speaker off before I could hear the word and something came through. Cam, did you do that? And there's some hits on the REM pod, by the way. Thank you for that. Clairvoyant just came through. Informed. Felt. Wow. Before that goes away. You see that? That was, sorry, that was me. I got too close to the stir mic right there. But yeah, that's crazy. 60. All right, so yes, please like and share. Thank you, Edna. Appreciate that. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Cam, Beth just came through. That's the name that came through. Seen that name pop up on the Ovilus many times, and actually that name does have a personal meaning to me, but also don't always want to trust everything that some of the spirits will come through and say. Be careful, because this could be a trick. You got to keep yourself aware and guarded. And there it is again. Keep turning off the speaker. Pam, do you have anything else you want to say? Nickel just came through. Oh, there we go. There we go. Can you get up to the yellow light, Pam? Please. Movie out eye. Or no, cut eye. Pam, do you want to say anything else? Correct. Can you get that light yellow, please? Washington. Washington came through. Pam, can you say anything? Can you say hello? Confirm your name. Say my name. Murder just came through. Jen just came through. I heard a voice that came through. Don't be alarmed on those lights. That was me. I had to re-zero and re-baseline this. Lie. Soil. Wow, Jen, lie, soil. So, is someone, is this referring to someone that had passed away and had lied down in the underground, under the soil? However, someone that was possibly murdered. I'm speechless. The sound. This haunted object is just mind blowing. Yeah, definitely blows my mind every time. Oh, there we go. Pam, can you jump that light across this REM pod? Can you jump it all the way across? You got an EM pump right there, right on the shelf. Can you use that EM pump for, use it for your communication needs. It's giving you EMF energy. Class, bottom porch. Wow. Okay, so that is too close to this. All right, so no, let me baseline that because that could be contamination from the spirit. No, it's still doing it. Okay, so that's validation that that was not contamination from there, except for when I was really close to it. So, okay, what we're gonna do? I'm gonna turn this off. Spirit just came through. Wow. Pam. Rot. Pam, can you come through? Touch this device, please. Yeah, Chastity is amazing at what she does, definitely. Pinky. I've heard that come through before. What do you mean by pinky? So the temperature is rose all the way up to 70.8. Wow, here we go. So what people need to understand is that it is, said normally that when temperature spikes drop and you get chills or is a sign of paranormal activity, it's not always the case. There is temperature fluctuation differences when they are way different than normal at a rapid growth, whether if it's rising or decreasing is paranormal. Tragic just came through. So when it's rising, that's usually not something very pleasant coming through, because what happens with us as humans when the temperature rises could cause agitation. Molecules just came through. Cause agitation, confusion, agitation, cause you to get angry, frustrated, lost, confused, sweat, all that stuff. So they know that irritates us. So they try to throw you off by raising the temperature. It's usually a source of devil energy or demonic energy, something of malevolent in nature. So those kind of things will happen. Decreasing chills, usually it's a sign of a spirit presence, spirit trying to channel in with you, and you start feeling those chills, the goosebumps, all that stuff. Statics could also be involved with that. You'll get that static energy where your hair starts raising up. Same things will happen when the temperature increases. You'll get that static charge. Nothing's come through yet through here. So we're still at pinky tragic molecules. So yeah, the temperature has gone up from, I believe it was 67 degrees. I do not have any heater on, no AC, everything shut off. So for it to fluctuate, was at a little over 3 degrees. Now it's decreasing. Let's see if it's because of that no, it's still decreasing. Now it's going back up. It's all over the place now. It's going at 60. Oh, wow. There we go. That's probably why. So there's definitely something here. So I was jumping from gravity, ease. Is this device much easier for you to interact with because it's sensitivity? This could be easy established communication because of the sensitivity of the device, because of that setting. So it doesn't have to really do much for it to interact with. Doesn't cost as much energy. So these devices are extremely helpful when it comes to that direct communication of signs of presence. It's very important to not move, because movement could cause contamination. But what I like about the Melmeter, it takes a lot for it to cause any kind of contamination with anything. So if my phone were to go off right now, it wouldn't start setting off. If the microwave were to go off, it wouldn't set off. If any kind of appliance were to go off, it would not set the device off unless you were extremely close to it. Actually, even you would have to literally touch the appliance for it to be going off. So that's why I like the Melmeter versus most EMF detectors. Like a K2 meter would have all sorts of problems with cell phones not being on airplane mode, walkie-talkies, stuff like that. That's why it's really important when you put your phones on airplane mode if you're using devices like K2 meters, because anything that comes through on the phone, whether if it's a text message, a phone call, anything could be a possible contamination cause of your devices. And even if your phone's on silent and you're not even noticing it, your phone could be ringing and you're getting a spike, but you don't feel the phone, you don't hear the phone. Could be caused from that. So it's very important to put your phone on airplane mode during an investigation. But unless you have one of these devices, that was me. See, that is why it's important not to be moving so much, holding this on REM setting. You have to move it very steady if you do. So you have to kind of just carefully glide it over where you're going. Notice how that doesn't go off when I do that. So the temperature is literally raised all the way to 71.2. So it is just going up. Still at gravity ease. Pam, can you please light up this REM pod? Though what, Pam? What do you mean by though? Is there something that is causing a barrier of communication? What do you mean by though? Boots. My boots? Is there someone here wearing boots? Touch this device. I didn't know that. That's a good tip. Oh, thank you. Pam, Can you acknowledge your presence, please? Light up this device. If you have something to say, I got that EVP recorder going, speaking that red light. So what I'm going to do next is I'll activate the portal device one more time before we start moving on to the next segment, which I want to do a paranormal discussion. So I'm going to leave this. That was me. That's why it's important not to move so quickly. Very important not to do that, but I'm going to leave that right there. Leave that idle, and I'm actually going to turn off the REM setting because I don't want no distractions with communications. Very important. You don't want to get too distracted and just frazzled, because you need to keep your guard up. It's extremely important. All right, so we're going to tap in. Give it a second. There we go. Oh, you're putting on your boots. Huh. That's interesting. Pam, would you like to come through and speak to this device? Wow, what a deep voice. Everyone hear that? Don't be alarmed. That was the door in my hallway. Nothing paranormal right there. There was a few words that just came through. Did anybody make that out? It almost sounded like I heard dad or something that had that type of sound of word. Yeah, you heard it too, right? What? Oh, you just text your dad. Wow. Result work. That's what the audio device just said. Is there anything you would like to say? The world's eyes are open for your communication, Pam. Right now's the time. Excel and child just came through. If anybody has any questions they wanted me to ask Pam, you can let me know. Hey, Pam. I'm still curious of what density you're coming from. Can you tell us? Can you describe it? Pam, did you guys hear that? Wow. Pam, was that 2 different times it said Pam? Wow. Thank you for that. Yeah, that was clear. That was amazing. Pam, thank you for that. Okay, I heard you dare, like daring me to do something, and then I heard something say you shouldn't. Numb just came through. NUMB. All right. Now, Pam, do you come from a higher dimension, but at a low vibration? Can you validate this? Afraid just came through. Who's afraid? Bunny.
Dark.
Can you not? It's dark. I just heard it's dark. Hey, what's up, Chaz? Thanks for joining. It said afraid bunny. Now, are you afraid to let people know how it works, where you're coming from? Pam, do you remember Dyer Lane? Do you remember sitting by that tree? And can you clarify the name that you gave us? Awesome. Factories just came through. Scene. What are you, Pam? I heard talk. Well, can you hear me speak? Are you hearing my voice? I could definitely feel your presence. Friendly just came through. But also, before it said friendly, it said dirty. Meaning, that can mean unclean. Unclean, friendly. It's pretty interesting. All right. There we go. Is there anything you need to say? Anything you want to say? Our ears are open. Muscle came through. Rose line. Use that EM pump that's right there on the shelf. If you need power, if you need a power source, don't hesitate. That's what that device is there for you for. What's my name, Pam? Can you clarify that? Can you say my name? Anything? Object. It literally just said object. See that? Wow. It just said you. Industry. Very interesting. Because remember, I was asking for if it could say my name, so it just said you. It's crazy. It's an interesting response. Now, that's fine. If you don't want to say my name, you want to just say you, that's pretty decent validation, Pam. I appreciate that. Ooh. Yeah, I know. I think I heard that a couple times. That's the part of the unclean energy that I'm talking about. They'll say some really pretty awful things sometimes. What do you correspond with? Can you tell us the cardinal direction that you correspond with? Can you validate that? As a spirit, what do you correspond with? What direction? Ooh, it was clear right there. It said talk to me just before that last word. Pam, what cardinal direction do you come from? Can you please tell us? Is there any other spirits you work closely with? There's that raspy ass voice that came through earlier.
Vaguely, but
Pam, right now is this is your last chance to come and speak. I don't have the REM on right now. Just checking the temperature and for any milligauss spikes. Yeah, I love that. About the millimeter. No contamination when I bring it this close. No milligauss hits off that. You still want more? I didn't hear that, honestly, but it wouldn't surprise me. There's a lot of things I probably haven't even heard, honestly, that I'm going to pick up on the EVP that you're probably hearing. That is so crazy. The temperature is different by 2 degrees just from over here. Let's see if it drops. Yeah, see, it's already dropping. That's crazy. It's going to be a 2-degree temperature difference between two spaces that not even 2 feet away. It's weird. It's your last chance, Pam. Whoever's involved in Pam the doll, can you speak? Let us know your presence. Say your names, who you are, what you are. Seven. One. That was a weird voice right there. The one that said one, are you the one in charge? Are you the ancient? Who's the ancient involved here? Can you say something through this Ovilus device? Come through and speak, Pam. I heard England came through. Yeah, I heard male and female voices come through too. Terry. Whoa. We got Terry through the Ovilus device earlier. That was clear. Holy moly. That was clear as hell.
on.
There's definitely an open portal, so that's been established because there's a whole lot of spirits coming from all over the place here. Okay, Pam, I'm gonna end this session. I appreciate the communication, and I wish nothing but the best for you. And protection. Protection from everyone, from at all, anybody. Wow, that was an interesting voice that came through. Protection from anyone's negative intention towards you and your intention towards anyone. The barriers are set in between the two, and we really appreciate the communication, Pam. Bye. All right, so that was really interesting. Holy moly, Terry, that name came through this device, and then it said Terry, super clear from that device. That's insane. Very cool. So there's going to be a lot of reviewing that I'm going to do with that. So I'm going to end the EVP session, and we are going to talk paranormal. So if anybody had any questions as I'm discussing stuff, please let me know. If it's questions about any of the objects, just questions on paranormal, the occult, ufology, demonology, and I will answer it at my best. I hope everybody's doing okay, and I thank everybody for sticking by. So that really validates right off the bat the title in the description for this live, communication between dimensions, and that really describes that right there. Hello, Megan. That really validates that right there. That is the communication that we really hope for during sessions like this. So we had a lot of validating from the Ovilus, the communication through the portal. The SB7, the communication was a little bit harder to come through, but that validates the power of using a portal device. It's a lot easier to tap into for them. The spirit box, it is harder to hear things on cue, but that's the importance of running an EVP while you're running the SB7, because it does help, because sometimes you do have to slow things down, because when you sweep through radio frequencies at a rapid pace and you have all that static noise, it's hard to listen past through it. So, getting some pre-recorded audio through an EVP of that session helps a lot, because some of those spirits will speak very rapidly and say a whole freaking sentence and you don't even realize it. So, yeah, some of the things that I want to talk about is, so with like energy orbs, let's talk about energy orbs. I feel like that would be a good start. So now there is a lot of speculation with energy orbs, and I get a lot of questions from people of how to tell the difference between the two when you are reviewing your pictures or your video. And there's distinct differences between dust, orbs, and bugs. With bugs, especially on infrared, when you're getting infrared and you're getting a bug, there's a reflective light against the solid materialized creature. So it's going to project and bounce off and bounce and reflect back at that lens, and then you're getting a glare. Those are easy, significant ways of telling the difference. So you'll get a flutter, and even if they look translucent, they still follow with a flutter. There's a flutter, and also when you're getting things that could be dust, usually has a very similar pattern with one another when it comes to other dust particles. So other particles are going to follow the same direction. There's going to be some type of current that's causing it, whether someone's walking by or a draft comes into the room and moves dust. They're all going to follow the same direction. Members just popped up on the device. So those dust particles say there's a direction, like there's a current going this way. Someone walked this direction. The dust is going to wave its way over there, or it's going to fall down but have a direction falling down towards that direction. Now, also, dust particles will reflect light because it's a solid matter. It shouldn't be as translucent. And ones that they will come translucent because they bubble on from the lens, capturing that dust particle hitting. Then you really got to start dissecting things. Take a moment. Don't rule it as paranormal just yet, because you want to analyze the movement. Did it manifest on camera? I've had orbs manifest off camera, and they're really hard to determine. And after reviewing for hours and hours, you start to see the behavior differences, an energy trail that follows behind it. There's this nice sand. Well, I do keep protective sand barriers on there. I use selenite sand and black tourmaline sand and a lot of barriers that I use. So the intelligent movements is something very important. That's key when you're love. Love is important. So when you're analyzing video and you see an orb, there's an energy trail that usually, especially if it's in movement, it's going to have this invisible like energy trail, almost like a heat signature, a heat wave. Like looking at top during the summertime and you're looking over the parking lot, the hot parking lot, and you see the heat waves. That's that heat signature from the energy runoff from this orb when it's traversing. So you want to look at those and really analyze that. Also, the communicate revoked. Yeah, we did end the communication from a portal device. Memory mark. Okay, so it's probably trying to tell me don't forget to mark, maybe timestamp where a word. So there's some important messages that probably came through. So also, and when it comes to the colors, here's an interesting thing: is you'll get greens, oranges, purples, browns, reds, fog. Fog came through the ovulus. So dust shouldn't come in colors like green, blue, purple. Those colors shouldn't really correlate with dust particles at all. So these are all just really significant signs right here. Plus, in a lot of energy orbs, some. It's weird. I keep feeling like there's something right here. That's weird. My computer literally just kind of flashed like this. It blinked, but I felt and seen almost like a shimmer of something right here. That was weird. So I lost my train of thought. Sorry. So the orbs, yeah, it does feel colder. Appetite 2 just came through. It does feel a little colder. Feels a lot colder right here, like directly in front of Pam. I keep feeling that little draft right here. It's just billowing right here. But I saw it right here. Moan just came through. MOAN. I just felt cold on my right arm, like clairsentient response. Wow. My whole right hand went cold. That's crazy. It's going off like crazy. It just said train ever and Z, the letter Z. So I hope that was helpful for everyone about the orbs, because I get a lot of questions about that. And to really spot the differences. But yeah, the intelligent movement of from where it corresponds and then to its destination. Look at the way the movement is. A lot of zigzagginess will happen with dust. That tends to happen. I'm not going to say that or spirit orbs don't do that themselves too. But I've seen spirit orbs go like really, but it's in a very organized pattern though. Now, dust don't does not have an organized pattern at all. Wow, I hope everybody could still see me. I keep losing my picture constantly, so I don't know if everyone's seeing that, but hopefully it doesn't cause any type of issue. Hopefully StreamYard's gonna be friendly with me right now. Um, so, okay, cool. So did anybody else have any questions? Any questions about Pam? Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm gonna take a quick break, just a moment. Be back in like 2 minutes. All right, folks, I'm back. All right. Oh wow, you guys heard that glass alive? Correct. Oh wow, it did. You're not kidding. Interesting. Let me go back through the comments real quick. Um, oh yeah, that's definitely important. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I'm gonna get this going because I still keep feeling temperature differences, so I'm just gonna leave this idle, but I'm not gonna have the REM setting on. So another thing that I wanted to discuss was, you know, connections between ETs and spirits and how much they understand each other. We need to understand that ETs also are at a completely different state of consciousness than we are, and are at a level of intelligence at that state of consciousness to have abilities that we don't understand. They could traverse through these realms, like astral realms, without death. We could do that ourselves. It's called astral projection. ETs could do this, and they could use this to observe, to tap into, and they could also do this to visit. Like if you're being briefed by an ET, you're being visited by an ET in some type of positive manner. There's also malevolent ETs that could do this. It's called astral kidnapping, or being astral abducted. Demons will do this too. They astrally kidnap you and bring you into a realm somewhere, some dark place where you really don't want to be. Um, there is very distinct differences between the two, and there are things that people need to be aware of. When you're There's a lot of people that don't understand, but when you're dealing with things that are very old, very ancient, um, there's it requires a certain process, a certain level of protection that most people really don't understand. That's why I have many different protective practices that I do. And I use a lot of ancient symbols for my protection because there's things that go far beyond and um, before Christ. Things like people ask me, they're like, well, would a crucifix be useful against malevolent ETs? And in some cases, most cases that I've heard, they did nothing and made things completely worse. People were getting attacked, people were getting levitated out of their beds and taken off. So, my advice for malevolent ETs: crystals, stones, those are going to be extremely important. Um, Quartz crystal, it's a very important piece of protection. I use prehnite, which is this right here. It's green. So when I'm making contact with ETs and groups that I'm connected with, I make sure I'm not being tricked or intervened by malevolent groups, and that's what this crystal does for you. It actually filters and helps you discern what type of groups you're connecting with when it comes to ETs or beings from, other planets or other star systems. Um, and when it comes to malevolent ETs, people ask me, they will ask me, like, what do they want? Why would they be interested in contact? So they do have an agenda, and what malevolent ETs really seek primarily is a fear source. It's an energy source, and it's known as adrenochrome. Comes from the adrenal gland, fear gland. Demons like to do this mostly with kids because their fear gland is much more potent than ours because they are closer to their higher selves. They're closer to their divine. They have a sense of innocence that hasn't been contaminated yet. So they are much more potent. So, but this compound that's in this fear gland causes like supernatural abilities to amp, and it's used almost like a drug in some cases. It is airborne and it also runs through the bloodstream. This is something that demons know, it's something they use, and it's something that they feed on. So, in cases with malevolent ET groups, they have the same objective, but also other things. Uh, Malevolent ETs really don't have an objective of a soul grab, or they're not really ultimately after your soul. They may disrupt you spiritually and lead your soul off to demons to fester on, but their primary source is their power source is fear, and to inflict that fear in society. That's why most people that do get abducted by malevolent groups, they have very traumatic memories of these abductions, because so that way that fear just resonates with them for years on out, and they feed off of it. It all corresponds and goes jumps all, and they collect all that fear. They put implants in people to collect that fear too, and also to attract people. So um now with positive groups, what they will tend to do is visit you astrally mostly. There's some times where, in rare cases, where people get visited physically. Um, and these times, they're actually briefing you with knowledge, upgrades, and so on and so on. Um, Sometimes these ET groups will even bring you to loved ones that had passed and guide you to where to find these people. Um, and I've heard in some cases that people that passed away and were stuck, like basically they had passed, but they didn't want to go on. They didn't want to go through the next process. And benevolent ET groups had helped guide this spirit over to the other side with that significant other that was connected with them in some way, loved one or a friend, and and pulled them to meet with this spirit and help them cross over. Um, Benevolent groups that are connected with people definitely are a good source of guideship when it comes to like spirit guide. Um, a lot of people's spirit guides could be ETs, ancient spirits that are divinely connected with you, as well as archangels. Um, Now, the about the malevolent groups, though, and what I want to make very clear is what I'm talking about is definitely not. I know I'm probably going to get it from people that I'm fear mongering this information, but it's not fear mongering. This is awareness. When people really want to look at things as just a love and light, which I get it, to be love and light at a certain degree, but you do want to kind of be in a gray area at some point, at some degree, because if you don't know your enemy, you have no room for to discern what's tapping into you, what's connecting with you. You'll be tricked very easy. So know your enemy, be aware, be protected, because it is a reality, whether if you want to like it or look at it that way or not. It is real, and there's people that get abducted. They suffer from nightmares. They suffer from sleep paralysis. People get terrorized by these things, and they have no understanding of it at all. People get veered in the wrong direction. They end up in a path of self destruction, and sometimes without any explanation at all. One day they're completely living a normal life, and the next day, just like a week from whatever experience that they had, all of a sudden their life just completely declined. They're financially declined. Their karma's declined. They're constantly getting injured, constantly getting sick. They got cancer. There's a lot of things that correspond with some of these malevolent groups that are causing some of this, and it's why it's really important to really just keep yourself protected and understand those signs, because it is important. So, um, I have a Palladian guide. Oh, that's amazing. Palladians are very, very angelic. And before I move on to next subject, does anybody have any questions? It has not said anything since it said glass alive caress. Is this happening when we sleep? Um, so can you define exactly what you mean by like are you talking about when about astrally visited, or in some cases shadow people have been considered ET. Um, Now I've heard like the shadow of the Hat Man, this pattern of this spirit that comes through and visits people in their bedrooms with a hat. And Edna, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. Oh, you were talking about that. So, um, yeah, when it comes to that, yeah, your dreams. So when you are asleep in a deep sleep, your pineal gland flares, right? And you start to actually your conscious body, your star body, your astral body, you actually will go places. Sometimes they're very parallel from our reality. In some cases, we actually visit in the eyes of our parallel selves. There are an infinite amount of realities within reality. So we're looking at a huge, multitude of realities, a multiverse, I guess you could say. So when you are astral projected, you actually go to these realms and you physically interact. You have complete control over what you're doing, unless you're being really driven by a guided spirit to kind of guide you of where you need to go. But still, then you could still turn around if you want to, like look behind you. And I've done that many times. So when it comes to uh, like if you're not astral projecting, but you're actually visiting some type of parallel dimension of our reality, in a very different sense of this reality. Some of them are very bizarre, but in some cases where you're visiting a parallel version of yourself in a different reality, you don't really have control, but the memories still resonate with you. So you could actually see what's going on, but you don't really have any control. It's almost like it's because you're in the window of this parallel reality. You're the window of the doer of your parallel self. So um that I've definitely studied on my own bit since I started realizing I've been astral projecting. So um and I have been astral projecting for many years, but I haven't been quite aware as much until the recent 2 years. Let's go back to that question. Are shadow people considered aliens? So there were insiders that talked about shadow people on Mars, um, and multiple whistleblowers talking about this. But they didn't mention hats on their heads or anything. They were actually very tall. They were about on the average of 6 to about 9 feet tall. They were shadowed. They didn't have any skin complexion. They didn't have a translucency. They were solid black figures. They didn't cast a shadow on the ground. They were literally upright shadow people, not casted shadows. And but I do believe that there are a lot of confusion between the two because there's a lot of similarities in the spirit world and ETs. And Washington again, I wonder what it's talking about when it says Washington. Zinc. Um, zinc. Interesting. So, what do we got next question? Are these groups get how do these groups get you? So, there's a lot of people that ask me that question. So, that is actually a really good question. There's people that are divinely connected with some of these groups at birth already. They're already aligned with these groups and they don't even realize it. Some people that are very intuitive sensitively, um, gifted with that gift very potently at birth, as like natural born mediums. They're much more aware, much more sooner because of that ability, that gift of connection and clairvoyancy and clairsentience. All those is much more potent and just sticks with them as they get older a lot better. That's why it's really important to understand, practice your gifts early, because people don't realize how much psychic mediums can get hurt and attached with spirits. They take hits really bad, and it gets really dangerous for them. So psychic mediums have to wear a lot of protection. People want to think that psychic mediums are invulnerable. That is not true. They take a lot of hits. um, Decompose, cut things. Wow. So, and as a star seed or a spiritual medium or someone that is very highly intuitive or connected with their divine, those individuals are most susceptible, most vulnerable, and it's because of their connection with their higher selves. The connection of certain starseed programs. It is because they oppose a threat, because they are seers. They are listeners. They could hear, they could tap. They have those senses very much more intuitively. So they oppose a threat, and they know truth a lot easier than the next normal person. So tiled. I don't know what that can mean. Tiled. Interesting. So they a lot of people like myself, I had suffered from being literally terrorized by malevolent beings, um, literally just terrorizing me almost every night when I was a kid for years. And I never understood it until, the recent years. So it all came together, it all made sense. And, here I am now. Um, so I was able to kind of break that barrier and start removing some things that I had to cut ties from. Um, I had removed a lot of bad energies that had just stuck with me over the years from those attacks, from those experiences. And it's that knowledge I use to help other people with that situation, because there's a lot of people that suffer from probably the same things that I've gone through. And I know this because I've met a lot of people that had very similar problems, similar experiences. And it gets really, really dangerous. It makes you sick, you know? So, and it could get really scary, you know? So, and they do attack animals too. So animals tend to really defend their owners and protect, and they take hits. They'll attack the family dog. They'll attack the family bird, the cat. Animals are very, very protective of their owners, and they have a lot of emotion. And malevolent beings do not like that. So hopefully that helped out with your question. Any other questions? Thank you, everyone who's stood by, and newcomers, welcome. And yeah, if you don't, if you didn't get the time to watch this whole live, if you missed some of it, you could watch it later too. I just got Beast just came through, so Beast came through. I have no idea what tiled even means. If someone knows, yeah, I don't know what tiled means. Dinner, Beast dinner. Ooh. What? Sounds like a beast that wants to feed. What do you want to feed on? What do you mean by beast dinner? Yeah. Actually, cats are very, very protective of their owners, especially when it comes to demons, because demons fear cats. And that goes all the way back to Egypt. What comment you just made? Oh, yeah. Yep. You're right. Definitely very, very well might be. So, yeah, was just came through. Wait, beast dinner was task just came through. Okay, that's interesting. Wow. So I'm turning this off for now because I'm not really feeling any. Wow. So this is interesting. I just turned that device off and it just said frigid. Interesting. Do you want me to turn that device back on? Are you trying to manipulate the temperatures to drop it? Is it going to get cold? Oh, wow. There is a real static barrier right here. That's pretty amazing. All right here. I'm actually curious. Let's see. All right. So just going to check real quick. As it said frigid. 69.2. So that's the baseline, 69.2. Okay, so maybe I should leave that on right here. I'll actually have that antenna pointed this way. So I had a vision of arms wrapped around the case just now. Really, I'm going to buy some crystals for protection. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Yeah, one of the really good crystals I like using for defense and protection are like amethyst. Amethyst is really good when it comes to a lot of things, grounding. Chris, interesting. It said crystal, right? So this really helps a lot. Yeah. So especially from malevolent ET groups. So something that's also good. Amethyst. Can't go wrong with amethyst. Grounding protection is important. Sandy. Interesting. I got sand earlier and now it says sandy. So I have a lot of sanded down crystals too, like selenite sand, black tourmaline sand, and stuff like that. So, which is also a really good barrier. Salt barriers, crystal sand barriers, stuff like that is also really good. So what I like to do is I connect selenite and black tourmaline together, and I place that above the thresholds of the rooms, the primary rooms of where any type of area where I don't want any type of intrusion from anything unwanted. So those two together as a negative energy absorber and a high vibrational amplifier, you connect those together. On top of that, the selenite is self-cleansing and also cleanse other crystals next to it that are connected or on it. So if you connect those together, and what you get, the reaction between the two, that compound creates a grid. So this grid could also protect any type of unwanted energies or spirits that try to intrude in your home, in your rooms. It's good to put this under your bed. It also works good. Sweet grass is also good to keep over your bedroom, especially the bedrooms where you sleep. Let's see. So yeah. So yeah, if anybody else had any questions about Pam, um, please let me know because I've actually got a lot of information, a lot more information over the years. Pam has been an ongoing case that since I've almost literally began this channel back in 2021 in January, is when I really started sparking some type of curiosity and attention with that object. Um, but interesting. Um, your message came in at 12:12 on my time. So when it comes to where everyone was kind of wanting to know about like your dreams and being visited, ETs, shadow people, those those are like something that is very important to know when it comes to understanding differences and understanding discernment. Wild just came through. Timid. Oramus. See, that's where I'm talking about uses very fancy words. Oramus. How often do you hear anybody say Oramus? So anyways, it, understanding discernment is very important. If you are interested in getting in the field in the paranormal, you need to understand discernment because if you don't understand what you're tapping into, you're going to be in trouble. So, does anybody have any other questions? So, oh, there we go. Density just came through. I was asking that for a while earlier. Density, rot, spirit. Wow. Rot. That's not a very positive word. Spirit. So yeah, uh one thing I would actually like to bring up before I end this, because I'm gonna be ending this pretty soon. Um quiet. So some of my, most memorable situations during investigating on some of the cases, um, I would have to say, um, probably one of my most favorite moments was over at this house in Folsom, and this was at a house where I had actually worked with my mentor, Roxy Reynolds, this psychic spiritual medium that if it wasn't for her, I would never have grown as much as I have spiritually. Um, she had passed away in July, um, but her legacy still lives on. She still guides me, even not physically, but metaphysically. Um, she's still around and she helps me as a guide, and I know she's been around. However, and now, anyways, I was. If it wasn't for this case, if it wasn't for her, I would never have got this case, and this case was really compelling to me because of these very, very intelligent responses. Um, so thank you for everything. Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you. I really appreciate your time coming on here to check it out. Um, so the thing that was really interesting, heart just came through. Um, the really interesting thing about harmonic, interesting, those both correlate with both of those words correlate with together. Um, the interesting thing about it is that these intelligent responses validated so much for me, uh, and you know, on a recorded way that I'd never I mean, I've had intelligent responses at Dyer Lane, but this one was really interesting because, uh, and you can look back at these because I posted them on my Instagram and both Instagram and YouTube. Um, these spirit box captures were really interesting because the spirits were coming through and giving me direct responses when I would ask something, and I would feel these drafts, follow the drafts, and then things would come through. And then I actually followed this draft up to a doorway to this bedroom, and I have been asking for a name before this, but when I had come by this doorway, it said I'm Cleveland, like super crystal clear. I'm Cleveland. And then when I put I told Charles that, my fellow investigator, I told Charles that I felt something right here. I said, "Something's right here." And then I put the spirit box right over where I felt it, and then it said that's when it said, "I'm Cleveland," and then it said, "I'm invisible." So, that is such a very intelligent response because it's understanding that we couldn't see them because they're invisible in our eyes. They're coming from another space that our eyes aren't understanding. So that was like really good validation that I really wanted right there. And that and this other experience at Dyer Lane where I clear, yeah, it definitely came in clear. Um, so at Dyer Lane, my most recent visit there, um, I had asked if there was activity in the skies because the skies over Dyer Lane have been known and had a history. Earth just came through. Um, had a history of UFO activity. So I was curious and I also felt like I needed to ask this. So I said, "Are you in a craft? Are you coming from up above in the sky? Are you in a craft?" Right after I said that, it said, "We're interconnected." That is such an intelligent response and very, um, a very fancy response at that too. That's not something that you really hear. Like, you're not going to hear that very often from people saying we're interconnected, coming through the other side like that. This was a very direct response, and there is such a deep connection with that because we are all interconnected. So the fact that it said that we're interconnected, it's consciously in connection with me. It's consciously aligned with me. Um, the connection of being connected with an ET group, the connection was validated right there. The that we're interconnected, and that was a really interesting response, and it's definitely a very memorable moment. Um, as well as another visit over at Dyer Lane during the third night shoot. Um, the third night shoot was really intriguing because I had caught a mist anomaly cross over the road as I was snapping photographs, and I saw it with my own eyes, and Charles did too. And it's crazy. Like I actually caught it in 2 frames, and then the third frame it was gone. And there was no so it's 80 degrees at that time, or a little over 80 degrees, and there were no cars that drove by, so no dirt could have been stirred up, and if it was dirt, let's say it was dirt. Let's say that the wind that we didn't feel threw some dirt in the air. What would happen is the camera would capture this dirt actually taking much longer to go away. Dirt is material. It is a material, right? So it also is going to descend. This mist did not descend in any way. It crossed over, floated. It did not fall down. There's no pattern of it falling. It wasn't smoke. Smoke wouldn't disappear that quick either. We would smell it if it was smoke. No one smoked. It was just me and one other person on the investigation. Neither of us smoked in any way. No cars, like I said, no signs of cars anywhere for miles, or maybe not miles, but all throughout the whole street, no cars, nothing possible to stir up anything. And it was said another person had passed by and that was really interested in what we were doing on the street. They had stopped and kind of was watching us for a little bit, I guess, from down the street. And um, we had seen what looked like a mist anomaly pass over their car as well in the distance. Interesting thing is when they had approached us, because we thought it came from their car, when they approached us, we told them about how we saw this mist crossing the road and that I got it on the photograph. And they had said that's weird because we saw something that looked like fog or smoke crossing over their car. And they couldn't really explain that either. And they thought that was very weird. So it's interesting that they had seen that as validating what we experience. It's just those kind of situations always baffle me. It's really interesting. But does anybody have any other questions? Because I'm gonna be ending this in a moment. No messages came through the Ovilus yet since it said Earth. Probably turn this off now. Um, Anybody, any questions? I really thank everyone for making it to the live. And I appreciate anybody that watches this later on and anybody that wants to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. So you're welcome, Chastity. Well, I'm gonna end this live right now. So you guys know where to find me. If you don't know where to find me on Instagram, that is, it's dead_serious_investigations. I have exclusive photographs on there, so don't forget to follow me and like some of the content. Check it out. So there's photos on there that you're not going to find on this channel on YouTube. So Instagram is going to be mainly photos. Every now and then you'll catch some photographs that I'll add in some slides. I will be adding that on other episodes on this podcast. So, but you're going to catch my podcast mainly on this channel. I'll be putting maybe some shorts here and there, but it's mostly going to be advertised based. But Instagram's going to be exclusive photos, so don't miss out on that. So, and if you haven't subscribed here on the channel, give me a sub. I'd really appreciate that. So, and a like. So, leave a comment if you have any questions, and I could get back to you and answer it the best I can. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day and happy nightmares, everyone. Later.